My friend, let me speak to you today, not to your comfort, but to your potential. There is a dangerous place in life where waiting begins to feel like wasting, where silence feels like abandonment, where delay feels like denial. And if you stay there too long, you start questioning not just your situation, but your Creator. But hear this clearly: God does not delay without purpose, and He never prepares you for something He does not intend to deliver. The problem is not that nothing is happening. The problem is that you've been trained to recognize movement, not preparation. A seed in the ground looks like it's doing nothing, but underground it's becoming everything. So if you're tired of waiting, I want to shift your perspective, because what feels like the end may actually be the final stage before your breakthrough. Let me give you 7 clear signs that your restoration is closer than you think. That first, the pressure has increased. When pressure rises in your life, your first instinct may be to resist it, to question it, or even to run from it. But pressure is not your enemy. It is a signal. It is evidence that something significant is taking place beneath the surface of your life. Understand this. Pressure does not come to destroy you. It comes to develop you. Just as diamonds are formed under intense heat and weight, greatness in your life is forged in moments of tension and strain. If there is no pressure, there is no transformation. You see, comfort has never produced excellence. Ease has never built character. It is in the moments when you feel stretched, when the weight feels unbearable, when everything seems to demand more from you. That is when your capacity is increasing. Pressure reveals what is inside you. It exposes your strength, your resilience, your faith, and even your weaknesses, not to shame you, but to refine you. Because anything that cannot stand pressure cannot be trusted with purpose. So if life feels heavier right now, don't misinterpret it as a sign that you are failing. It may actually be proof that you are evolving. The weight you feel is not there to break you. It is there to build you into someone stronger, wiser, and more prepared. And the truth is this: the greater the calling, the greater the pressure required to shape it. So don't run from the pressure, grow through it. Docks and old doors are closing. There is a unique kind of frustration that comes when things begin to end. Doors that once opened easily now feel shut. Relationships that once felt secure begin to shift. Opportunities you expected to grow suddenly disappear. And in those moments, it is easy to feel rejected, overlooked, or even abandoned. But you must change how you interpret what is happening. Not every closed door is a loss. Some doors are closed because they have already served their purpose in your life. What you are experiencing is not always opposition. It is often transition. You see, every season has an assignment. And when that assignment is complete, the environment that supported it is no longer necessary. Holding on to it beyond its time does not bring stability. It creates stagnation. The challenge is that familiarity feels safe, even when it is no longer beneficial. You may find yourself trying to reopen doors that no longer fit who you are becoming. But growth demands release. You cannot carry yesterday's identity into tomorrow's destiny. What if those doors are not being shut against you, but for you? What if they are closing to protect you from staying too long in a place that cannot sustain your next level? Because the truth is, new doors require empty hands. So instead of resisting the closing, learn to embrace it. Trust that what is leaving is making space for something greater. Every ending is an announcement that something new is ready to begin. And sometimes, the greatest step forward begins with the courage to let go. Third, your faith is being tested. Faith sounds powerful when spoken, but its true strength is only revealed when it is challenged. Anyone can declare belief when circumstances are favorable. Anyone can speak confidently when results are visible. But real faith is proven in moments when there is no evidence, no confirmation, and no immediate reward. Understand this. Faith that is never tested cannot be trusted, because untested faith is only an idea. It has not yet become conviction. There will be seasons in your life where everything around you seems to contradict what you believe. The doors you expected to open remain closed. The answers you prayed for seem delayed. The evidence you hope to see is nowhere in sight. And in that tension, you are faced with a choice. Will you adjust your belief to match your situation, or will you hold your position until your situation changes? This is where faith becomes powerful. Faith is not denial, it is decision. It is the conscious choice to stand on what you know, even when what you see does not agree. It is the refusal to surrender your conviction to temporary circumstances, because testing is not meant to break your faith. It is meant to strengthen it. Every challenge forces your belief to move from words into action, from theory into reality. And when your faith survives pressure, doubt, and delay, it becomes unshakable. So if your faith is being tested right now, don't see it as a setback. See it as preparation. Because what passes the test can be trusted with the promise. Fourth, you feel uncomfortable. Where you once felt settled, there comes a moment in life when what once felt normal begins to feel restrictive. The place that once gave you peace now creates restlessness. The routine that once brought comfort now feels like a cage, and you start wondering, what's wrong with me? But the truth is, nothing is wrong with you. What you are experiencing is growth. Growth is never comfortable because it demands change. It stretches your thinking, challenges your habits, and disrupts your sense of stability. And when you begin to outgrow a place, a mindset, or even certain relationships, staying the same becomes more painful than moving forward. That discomfort is not punishment. It is a signal. It is an internal awareness that you are no longer who you used to be. Your capacity has increased, your perspective has expanded, and your purpose is calling you to something greater. But growth creates tension, because while you are ready for more, your environment may not be. You cannot evolve and remain the same at the same time. So the discomfort you feel is not meant to discourage you. It is meant to direct you. It is pushing you to reevaluate where you are, what you are doing, and who you are becoming. Because staying in a place you have outgrown will eventually limit your potential. So don't ignore the feeling. Don't suppress it. Lean into it. Because sometimes the very thing that feels uncomfortable is actually the evidence that you are ready for your next level. Fifth, you are becoming more aware of your purpose. There is a shift that happens within a person that cannot always be explained, but it can be deeply felt. You begin to think differently. The questions you ask become deeper. The things that once satisfied you no longer hold the same value. You start desiring more, not just materially, but meaningfully. You are no longer content with simply existing. You want to understand why you exist. This is not confusion. This is awakening. When purpose begins to stir within you, it disrupts your comfort with ordinary living. You start to recognize that you were not created just to survive, to go through routines, or to settle for whatever comes your way. There is something greater pulling on your mind, your spirit, and your potential. And that awareness changes everything. Because once you become conscious of purpose, you cannot return to ignorance. You cannot pretend that you don't feel the call to grow, to build, to contribute, to become. This is where many people feel overwhelmed, because purpose demands responsibility. It requires you to think beyond yourself, to develop discipline, and to align your life with something meaningful. But understand this clearly, restoration is not just about recovering what was lost. It is about rediscovering who you were always meant to be. The process is not just external, it is internal transformations. So if you find yourself thinking deeper, questioning more, and reaching for something greater, don't dismiss it. That is not restlessness. That is purpose calling you higher. Sixth, you're being forced to let go. One of the most difficult experiences in life is losing something you were not ready to release. Whether it is a relationship, an opportunity, a plan, or even a version of yourself, being forced to let go can feel painful, confusing, and deeply personal. It can feel like something is being taken from you. But you must look deeper. Sometimes what you call loss is actually liberation. There are moments when you hold on to things not because they are good for you, but because they are familiar. You convince yourself that you need them, that you cannot move forward without them, that your future depends on their presence. And yet, at the same time, those very things may be limiting your growth. So what happens? What you refuse to release, life will begin to remove, not to harm you, but to free you. Because as long as your hands are full of what no longer serves you, you cannot receive what is meant for you. Growth requires space. Transformation requires surrender. Letting go is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the recognition that holding on to the wrong things can cost you the right ones. And yes, it may hurt. Release is rarely comfortable, But pain does not mean something is wrong. It often means something is changing. So if you find yourself being forced to let go, don't resist it with everything you have. Instead, ask yourself, what is this making room for? Because sometimes the very act of release is the first step toward receiving something greater. Seventh, you still have a desire to keep going. After everything you've been through, the delays, the disappointments, the setbacks, you would think by now that you'd be empty, that the fight would be gone, that the passion would have faded. And yet somehow, in the middle of it all, there is still something inside you that refuses to quit. You're still here, still pushing when it's hard, still hoping when it doesn't make sense, still believing, even if it's just a small spark. That is not weakness, that is evidence. Because when something is truly finished, the desire for it disappears. When there is no more purpose, there is no more drive. But the fact that you still feel the urge to move forward, to try again, to rise one more time, that means something is still alive within you. That fire is not accidental. It is intentional. It is a sign that your story is still being written. Many people mistake exhaustion for the end, but they are not the same. You can be tired and still be called. You can feel weary and still have purpose. The presence of struggle does not cancel the presence of destiny. In fact, the desire to keep going is often strongest right before a breakthrough. So don't ignore that inner drive. Don't silence that voice telling you to continue. Because as long as there is something in you saying, keep going, it means you are not finished. And if you are not finished, then neither is your breakthrough. So now you see it clearly. What you thought was delay, pressure, and loss may actually be preparation, alignment, and transformation. Every sign points to one truth. Your breakthrough is not distant, it is developing. But understanding this is not enough. You must respond to it. Do not go back to old thinking. Do not shrink to fit spaces you have outgrown. Do not lose your conviction just because the process feels long. Instead, stand firm, adjust your mindset, embrace the process, and most importantly, keep moving forward with intention. Make a decision today. You will not quit, you will not settle, and you will not doubt what is being formed in your life, because breakthrough is not given to those who wait passively. It is revealed to those who grow intentionally. So rise up, take responsibility for your development, and step boldly into your next season. Your time is not coming. Your time is now.